Hey, what's going on, guys? It's FPL Yusuf here, and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be going over my final team selection ahead of the game week 23 deadline. I'm going to be talking about what my current team lineup is, some of the transfers that I have made, and a potential -4 that I'm looking to do. And I'll also cover some key questions surrounding this game week, but also with a little bit of a further view to look towards double game week 24 as well. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for being here with me today on my YouTube channel for another video. Before we get into this one, if you guys wouldn't mind dropping a thumbs up and subscribing down below, it would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so we've got game week 23 coming up. We're not too far away now, less than 24 hours. I'm going to just go over some key questions surrounding this game week, but also which cover maybe a little bit of double game week 24 too. So first up, we're going to start off with Liverpool. Now, which triple should we go for? Most of us are going to have, if not all of us, are going to have Mo Salah. I think a lot of people will have either one Liverpool defender, and I'm going to just say that as a generic thing. I think a lot of people will obviously be on Trent. Some might have Konate, some might have Alisson. So it's probably Salah, a Liverpool defender, and then you have one spot left. Now, the question is, do you go for a Cody Gakpo and a Luis Diaz to try and cover the attack? Or do you go for another defender, a Van Dijk, an Alisson, a Konate, whichever one you haven't got to cover the defense? I think it's a little bit of a tricky one, actually. Because myself, I was looking at bringing in Alisson as well as a goalkeeper. I think the thing with him is, in particular, is Liverpool obviously are probably going to blank in game week 29. I think a lot of us are expecting them to overturn the Spurs game in the Carabao Cup. So if everything goes to plan as we think it should, then Liverpool will obviously blank in 29. So most of us who are tripling up this week for the game against Ipswich in 23, but then also the double in 24, will probably more than likely end up keeping these players all the way through. Now, I think the upside is obviously with the attackers, as it always is. Gakpo and Diaz have the highest ceiling. Obviously, Jota's been ruled out, which means we're not sure when he's back yet. So obviously that does help certain players' minutes. Darwin started midweek for Liverpool in the Champions League, didn't really do too much. Is there a chance that he takes away some minutes from Gakpo and from Diaz? Potentially, but I think right now Liverpool have got to go with their strongest front three, and I do think that is Salah on the right, Gakpo on the left, and Luis Diaz through the middle. If I had to choose one of them, and I already have chosen one of them, I made my transfer early this week, I would go Cody Gakpo. I think his minutes are just a little bit more secure. I think he's better at playing both of those positions than Diaz is. I think Diaz is predominantly more of a left winger. I don't really know if I see him in the number 9 role, whereas I think Gakpo can play either side in both. I do think that, even though both of them are tendencies to have early subs, I do think Gakpo will probably end up getting more minutes over the next sort of 3 games for Liverpool. So the game week 23 game against Ipswich, but also their double as well. So yeah, I think for me personally, if I was trying to triple up on Liverpool, I think I would just about edge towards the attacking side of things. Of course, Liverpool got good fixtures on paper, coming up, which means they could be clean sheets in there. So a double up might be worth it. I just think Van Dijk doesn't offer as much attacking threat as I would like for someone who's paying that type of price range. Like when I look at that sort of 6.5, 6.6, 6.7 range, you're looking at the likes of Gabriel, who offer such high attacking threat preset, whereas Van Dijk doesn't really offer that. It's not to say he can't score from corners. It's just if you are going to, go in that price range, I think I'd rather just pay the extra and just get a hold of Trent. So I just do think that Liverpool defensively, I think as good as they are, and if you are on a double Liverpool defense, that's absolutely fine. You're going to keep them. But I just think that the upside this week is definitely with the attackers. Right, so let's talk about Cole Palmer. Now, this is such a strange thing for me to have to say. So he has actually dropped it in price. He's been mass sold for some reason, and I'm not too sure why. So obviously Chelsea have got a little bit of a mixed bunch of fixtures. They obviously do have Man City, which isn't a great fixture on paper, but I think Cole Palmer just offers. He's just one of those players that offers you sort of consistency regardless of who he's playing. He's on penalties, he's on a lot of free kicks, set pieces for Chelsea, so he obviously offers that attack threat. But he is Chelsea's talisman. Now, if it was a question about his fitness, then okay, that's fair enough. But I've just seen so many people this week just sort of transfer him out, and I just don't think it's the right move. I think if you've got Cole Palmer, you're just going to leave him there because Chelsea is as their fixture run's not terrible. It's not great. It's somewhere in the between, but they can definitely score against anyone, and especially Cole Palmer in particular. We saw how good he was last season against all opposition, against the the top 5-6 teams, but also against the bottom 5-6 teams. So yeah, for me, I think if you've got Cole Palmer, I think for me personally, at least anyway, it's just a non-negotiable. Like he's not going absolutely anywhere. He's staying there. It's looking more than likely that he'll play in 29. Obviously, if Arsenal don't overturn the 2-goal deficit to Newcastle, then Chelsea will be playing Arsenal, which obviously isn't a great fixture in 29, but it's one less transfer that you have to rely on. Plus, it's Cole Palmer. So yeah, for me, I think if you own Cole Palmer, he's just a keep. I don't really understand the hype around selling him right now, but yeah, for me personally, like I said, definitely a keep and just hold him for the sort of next 5-6 game weeks. And the final question I'm going to get onto is about the assistant managership. Obviously, game week 23 is coming week, but what happens next week? Do we use it? Look, I think, if you haven't got a triple captain, left in the bank, then maybe there is the double game week in 24 is such a good chance to jump on someone like Arnie Slot. Now, of course, you have to remember that firstly, you're going to need a space from that club to bring in that manager. So if you are going to go for someone like Slot, say for example, you can only have two Liverpool players in your team. So that's something to bear in mind. I just think that the upside with this chip, and I think with the amount of points you can get, you're going to want to try and target table bonus. Now, obviously, Liverpool being top, they're not going to get any table bonus because everyone's below them. Remember, the only way to get the table bonus is from beating a team who's either 5 places or higher above you. So for me personally, I think if you haven't got, if you haven't got the triple captaincy and you're looking to try and do something different, looking to maybe try and gain some rank like myself, then maybe it's not such a bad idea. I just think that maybe longer term there might be a few options. Graham Potter at West Ham, David Moyes at Everton, that may open up themselves to actually start to put a run of form and run of fixtures together where they are playing against teams who, yes, they are 5 places above them, but are definitely beatable for those teams on their day. So for me, I don't have a problem with it. I just personally am going to save mine, and I just think that there might be a better opportunity once we sort of sit down and go through the fixtures to see who's playing who, and maybe plan out a better strategy for that chip. So this is what my current team's looking like for game week 23. We'll start off in goal with Matt Sells. Like I said in my previous section, I was possibly contemplating the idea of taking Alisson into my team, but then obviously that would cost a -4. And I just, A, because it's a keeper, I don't think the upside is really that high. B, I think Nottingham Forest are actually a decent defence. Yes, they haven't got a great fixture on paper this week, and Liverpool have the better fixture. But I think, Nottingham Forest are one of those teams that, especially when Sells keeps a clean sheet, usually he ends up with save points and bonus points. So I'm happy just to hold him for this week, and I'm going to keep him just for the time being at least anyway. We're going to go with the back three. Anthony Robertson at home to Man United. Man United not playing well at all. I do expect Fulham to hopefully get some joy in this game, and hopefully Robertson down that left-hand side can provide a bit more of an attacking threat. Lewis Hall, of course, has probably got one of the prime fixtures this week against Southampton. I do think that there will be chances. He really is very good at creating opportunities, especially for the likes of Isak and Gordon down that left-hand side. And I just think that Southampton are going to give up chances. They're going to give up big chances too. So fingers crossed Lewis Hall can sort of jump in on that action. And the last player to get in there is Yuri and Timber, obviously against Wolves. Not the easiest fixture, I don't think, on paper. I think a lot of people maybe Cunha on his day might be sort of forgetting about how good he can be. So I think Arsenal would have to go there serious, in order to make sure that they get the job done. But hopefully, fingers crossed, Timber can keep the clean sheet and Arsenal can just rack it up and start to put a run of form together. Then we move on to the midfield. Salah and Palmer are non-negotiables. Right now, my captaincy is on Salah, but I think there is a genuine option to consider Isak. But I think for me personally, I will be keeping it on Salah. And Bournemouth's got Crystal Palace away. Not the easiest game. I do actually expect that game to be quite free scoring. I could see that being a 2-2 or a 3-3. I can see a lot of goals going in that game. We've already seen this week that Mateta's price has gone up. Vissa is close to a price rise. Both, playing against each other, obviously, ironically, this week. So, yeah, for me, I think Bournemouth could be definitely a great choice. He's on penalties. He's a 90-minute man. Such a great finisher as well. So, yeah, very happy to own him in the midfield. And finally, to finish off, is Anthony Gordon against Southampton. It was a bit unlucky last week. He actually managed to have 2 shots cleared off the line against Bournemouth, despite them losing 4-1. So, even though he did blank, which I think was the first blank in about 6 weeks, so he's been very consistent. I am expecting Newcastle to sort of get back on the horse and really just take Southampton apart. And I do expect big chances in this game. And hopefully, fingers crossed, Gordon can have an impact on how Newcastle are playing and how they're scoring. And finally, onto the strikers. 2 of them non-negotiables who have been here since last week, and the weeks before. Alexander Isak and Chris Wood. Both have got. Isak in particular has got a fantastic fixture. Chris Wood, not too bad against Bournemouth away. It's not the easiest in the world. It's not the worst. It's somewhere in between. And my new transfer in this week, Raul Jimenez, has left us, and we have brought in Cody Gakpo, who's playing against Ipswich at home. Expecting big things from this man over this week and the double game week next week. So fingers crossed we've made the right choice with our third Liverpool slot, and hopefully fingers crossed he will be the one to bring us some big points in these coming game weeks. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please don't forget to drop a thumbs up and subscribe down below. I hope game week 23 goes really well for you guys. If you have any comments about my team or about your teams, please feel free to leave it in the comments down below, or in turn follow my Twitter. I'll leave a link to it in the description. But thank you guys so much for all the support. We're so close to 100 subscribers. I think we're like 11 or 12 away. So if you guys haven't subscribed and you're watching this for the first time, please don't forget to drop a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe down below. We're so close to getting that first target. So that would be really appreciated if you guys could just drop a little subscription down below. But thank you once again so much for watching it, and I'll catch you guys next time.